one of the biggest, most talked about games heading into these first couple of rounds was the tie between Fallon Sherrock and Steve Beaton. Steve Beaton coming through a 3-2 winner tonight when we're recording this, all the way to a deciding set, but no repeat for the Queen of the Palace from 2 years ago. But how did you rate Fallon's encore performance?
Well, it really was a tale of two matches for both players. And you look at those first two sets, and they were both incredible. Steve Beaton, through 10 legs, was averaging nearly 10 points on. The highest average he had ever had in a World Championship, was averaging over 105. Fallon was averaging over a ton. Both of those sets could have easily swung either direction. Both went the distance and both had chances. And they were both creating chances. And, you look, not just the 180s, but Steve Beaton a 177 and a 174 setup shot. Fallon a 177 in the first set that she didn't even get the darted double after because Steve Beaton checked it out to win the set. So they were both playing at this incredible standard, and you knew it was likely to dip. Player, no matter how good you are, you will dip. But the second half of the match really was unexpected, just how much both of them really seemed to struggle. Fallon in the third set just disappeared. Steve Beaton in the fourth set disappeared. And neither of them were really playing that much better in the sets they won. They just were playing at some more of a competent level than their opponent. And then the fifth set was just a slog. But credit to Steve Beaton where it was due. He hit the shots in the key moments and didn't really lift his game so much, but just stayed steady enough in that fifth set to get over the line. For Fallon, she will be and should be disappointed because we've seen so much better from her. Not just, those first 10 legs where she was playing at a phenomenal level, but we've seen her be able to maintain that against Peter Wright in Wolverhampton, against Michael van Guren in Denmark. Yes, she lost that match in the end, but she didn't regress nearly to the extent that she did in this match. So I think I'd rate her encore as a C. The first half of the match unquestionably was an A. The second half was more of a D. So I'll give her a C for her encore. We know she's better than this. We know she has more to give than this. But credit to Steve Beaton because he hung with her when she was hitting everything, throwing everything at him. And then he managed to get over the line with the key shots and the key moments.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. It was a strange game, really. We saw the start of it. Both players did come out of the traps very quickly, as you say. We had Steve Beaton averaging 105, best part of 105 for those first two sets, and Fallon was keeping with Steve the whole time as well. Both those first sets going the full 5 legs. Then the averages dipped a little bit, didn't they? We saw Steve win that third set with an 80 average, Fallon averaging 74 in that one. She picked up her game to return the favour in the fourth set, win it 3-0 with a 88 average, and Steve really didn't pick up his game to where it was in those first two sets. He stayed at around the high 70s, low 80s, but in the deciding set, Fallon just couldn't quite get going and loses the final set 3-1. And as far as an encore, it was always going to be difficult to try and match or even better what she did 2 years ago, because that was something that we'd never seen before, making history like she did. But I think going into the tournament, she would have liked her draw that she had. Steve Beaton's not had the best last couple of years, you'd say. He's dropped down the rankings. He's outside the top 32. He's bordering on the top 50, around that range at the moment. So I think she'd have been happy with the draw. But we saw Steve Beaton roll back the years in those first two sets, and okay, his level dropped after that, but he was able to get over the line. And now for Fallon, all the focus is going to be on Q School, isn't it? I don't think we're expecting the PDC to come out and give Fallon a tour card or anything like that. I know there's a lot of talk about the Premier League. I think that's probably been put on hold now after going out in the first round, and that's not just because it's Fallon Sherrock. I think we could say that every year when we get to this tournament, there's players that we tip to maybe be an outside pick for the Premier League, and they go out first, second round of the World Championship, and that really does put their hopes to an end for a year. So I think the Premier League's going to be a bit too soon for Fallon. Now all the attention will be on Q School, and if she can bring her A game to Q School, then you do fancy her to get that tour card. But I think she's going there knowing that she's a better player than she was 2 years ago when she had all those achievements at Ali Pali. It's now, can she put it all together for that week in Milton Keynes, not far for her to go, and see if she can get that tour card.